because these people, with their integrity, consistency, and standards, they have built not only a remarkable business, but they have also raised the standards for all of us. How to do this business, why to do it, and of course, what this business can give us. But to edify furthermore, I want everyone to stand up and welcome our Executive Vice Chairmen, Edward and Michelle, to open this night.
Hello, everybody. How is your energy today? Is everybody prepared? Today is a very special day, and most of you who has been in the business long time, you know why, but whoever is new, I want to tell you we have these special people in our office, because if not them, we wouldn't be in this business. There are uplines, there are trainers, mentors, and when we started the business, no one could imagine that it's going to turn to this serious business, because from the beginning when we started, as many of you know our story, Edward wasn't sure that we have to do this business, but I was just really convinced that we have to go to convention, this and that. But I want to tell you one thing, we couldn't grow if we would be in different leadership, because this leadership gave us everything, the knowledge, the expertise, anything we have, and the discipline that we have, the love we have towards WFG. It's because of Jack and Karine, and I'm very blessed to have here Jack and Karine here, and Joe too, and give a big round of applause for Joe too. And with this, I want to give the mic to Edward, and I'm very excited, but let him say a few words.
Should I say a couple of words? Yes. Good morning, our amazing team, excited people. We love to see you all here today. Definitely starting 2026 very strong, and one of the thank you so much. Yeah, and one of the idea why we're starting strong because we're planning we finish very strong is extremely important. And as Michelle said, we have extremely very special guest today in our office. We call them our parents in the business. We call them our friends, and we're calling them our family. So I believe we're going to be excited to hear good and great nuggets from them, and it's going to help you to grow and understand, because you understand you are a grandchild to them, and it's not because of your age, but because of the business-wise. So I would love to ask you, pay please close attention, every word what they're going to say, and most important, energy. What you can do, bring your highest energy, and help me welcome on the stage our friend, dear friends. Stand up, please. And our upline, our amazing friends, Jack and Karine. Push, boom. Yes, we can do. Yeah, yep. Whoop. Okay.
Wow. You want to take this one?
That's fine. There you go. All right. Good morning, everybody. Hello, everyone on Zoom. We have a lot of you on Zoom. Hello. We're excited to be here. I'm Jack. This is my beautiful wife, Karine.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Edward and Michelle. This is incredible. We love being here. We love seeing familiar faces and so many new faces. We've, followed your journey with Edward and Michelle. We've had constant conversations. We know exactly, your growth and your prosperity and abundance that's coming and flowing into this organization. But it's incredible to look back and see how it all started. Edward and Michelle have been a blessing in our life. The day we met them changed our life completely. They talk a lot about how we've changed their life, but honestly, they've changed ours. I still remember the first day I met Michelle in our office. Jack met them first because he went on a field training. So tell them the story a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. They say sometimes from your most frustrating moments comes the greatest blessings. I remember it was a Wednesday. I actually remember the day. It was a very frustrating day. I had 5 appointments that canceled on me, and things weren't going well. How many of you have days like that in business? Okay. And then it was around 6 p.m. and then we were invited somewhere. Karine called me. She said, I'm downstairs with the kids. come down, let's go grab something on the way, grab a pastry, and then we go. We stop by a pastry shop. I go in, fast forward, the person that I met over there inside, and she asked, what do you do? Are you a lawyer? And I was in a suit and coming out of a meeting. And it was a very frustrating day that day, and I didn't even want to talk. And she said, are you a lawyer? I said, I'm not, but we train lawyers too. I don't know why I said that, but she said, what do you do? She said, what do? You train lawyers. I said, we solve people's financial problems. And this lady says, well, oh my God, my husband and I need to talk to you. Do you have a business card, right? So I give a business card, I get hers. So me being this dumb, I never follow up, right? You're supposed to follow up with your prospects, right? So I don't follow up. And she has the business card. Apparently she calls me, she couldn't get a hold of me. And then one day I'm going to the office, right by my footsteps here by the door, I see a box with a note, right? It says, hi, this is Sophia. Please call me. I've been trying to get a hold of you, and there's a box of cookies, right? Can you imagine your prospect chases you, comes to the office because they are looking for you. So I call her.
This is what not to do.
This is what not to do, right? Follow up with your prospects. So she comes in. Anyways, they become a client, join the business. She says she knows no one, but we got one referral from her that, I won't get into the whole story, but that one gave us four more referrals. And the fifth referral happened to be Edward and Michelle, where we went to a field training appointment. I actually went twice. First time we're on the 5 North driving, and the freeway was closed. It was jam-packed. The trainee had to call Michelle and say, hey, we can't show up. Something happened. Can we reschedule for another day? Right? And then I went back again. And that was, what a blessing that was. That was the day I met your incredible leaders, your EVCs, Edward and Michelle. I was across their kitchen table. They had just bought a house. They were remodeling. Their kids were so small. And I remember the conversations as if it was yesterday. Right? What a fun day that was. And how many lives changed because of that. And Edward and Michelle got started, and the rest is history. Today, over 500 licensed agents all across North America. Give your leaders a big round of applause. Right? The power of referrals.
So Jack comes home that night after that field training, and he's just so excited, right? Because we've done that before. When you're new, you get somebody started. I remember even once we were like, oh my God, we just recruited our superstar and we're celebrating in the office. We're ready to pop the champagne, right? Like literally as we're celebrating, the guy calls from the parking lot to say he quit. How many of you had that happen? Right? So now he comes home, he's excited, but he doesn't want to be too excited. So he's like, I met an amazing couple. And I'm like, okay, Jack. He's like, the wife is a fireball. The husband's a little negative.
Yeah, it took Edward a while for him to
Thank God for
catch
Michelle,
the
because you know the story, right? I'm sure you've heard it all. And I was so excited to meet them. So it's Saturday. It's their first time I'm going to meet them in the office. And I walk in, and there's a lot of people, because we were sharing that office with a lot of leaders. It was on Central. And I walk in, and from far away, I see somebody with these big, fiery eyes, just looking like this. I'm like, that must be Michelle. That's gotta be her. And sure enough, that was her. And my gosh, it's been an incredible, incredible journey. It's been a blessing. I wish sometimes we could slow time down or understand these incredible moments that are going to shape the rest of your life, because you never know, right? And it's just been incredible. We're just so grateful. And imagine one decision has shaped all of your future, right? If your leaders gave up, and they had so many reasons to give up, this journey hasn't always been easy for them, but it's always been rewarding. We've never, ever, 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 no matter what was going through, ever doubted that they were questioning the business or the fact whether they were going to stay or not. It was always, our conversations were always about, how do I get better? How do I plan this? How do I get better? I mean, after the meeting, we would go to their house and sit till 4 a.m. sometimes, planning and strategizing. But the best thing you could learn from your leaders, it's the speed of instruction that they've applied everything. So they're incredible. You guys are an EVC team. You're in an EVC office. And even if you're not in this office, you have direct coaching from an executive. We didn't know our executives until 5 years after we were in the team. We had no idea. And they were 6 hours away, right? We had no idea who they were. But so when they're coaching you and guiding you, understand the power of that, because their entire objective is to make sure that you become more successful faster than they are, right? That's every parent's dream, true? Yes. Absolutely. So that's it's been a joy us watching. The last 2 years we've been watching from far, but we've enjoyed every moment. We've loved seeing how much you guys have all stepped up and what you've done in again the last even year. It's absolutely incredible. You're very well respected and known in the entire company. How many of you are proud to be in this team? Right? I love it. I love it. I'm gonna just share a few words and then Jack's gonna continue. But I'll be quick. I wanted to just kind of go through some of the power that we have in our hands right now because the timing has never been better. How many of you agree that WFG has never been better? Right? Even if you just got started, understand you're starting at the best time you could possibly start. And even if you've been here, just know and embrace this. Because how many of you saw the news that Aegon, our mother company, right, over 70-year-old company is becoming a US company, yes? Is that crazy, right? A company that has been around for, a century is now becoming a US company and coming to United States, which means more power to our organization as a company. They will be traded as a Transamerica. They are actually going to change their name to Transamerica, which is your company. Is that insane? It blows my mind. Because when we started, it was so hard for us to explain who Aegon was because not a lot of people knew since it was not a US company. And now imagine the credibility, the fact that your company is going to be traded on New York Stock Exchange under the symbol of TA. Insane, right? You guys get that? I couldn't sleep when I heard that. We were just with your leadership at an executive meeting, and I'm sure they shared this stuff with you, but the fact that Transamerica just spent over $300 million to upgrade their service department. I mean, think about that. If you were to start a company of your own, how much money would you need? How much support would you need in order for you to be able to have that kind of backing? We don't got to worry about any of that stuff. So we just have to understand, and that's the best part, watching Edward and Michelle start, they always valued the opportunity at hand. They always knew this is the greatest thing there is. We just have to know how to run it, right? Because if we do, incredible things will happen. And the most, and that's why it's like, as I'm going through this, I'm going to give you some examples from their story as an example, because success leaves clues. Is that true? So does failure. One of my favorite things to do is, when we talk to the team, is to say, when you win, you should always ask yourself, why did I win? But you should also ask that question when you don't win. When you fail, you should also ask, why did I fail? And that was one of the greatest things. They always looked at what they did right and expanded on it, and they looked at what went wrong and eliminated it. So that's a great thing to do, because if you've won, there's clues in that. We could study it, we could learn it, we could continue it, we could expand it. Is that true? So this is wonderful. But we have to, and the theme for WFG this year is stay in possibility. Right? Stay in possibility. What's possible? I mean, think about this. All those years ago, we had no idea what was possible. When Jack and I started, it was just the two of us. We didn't have a market. We had no one to talk to because my cousin and his wife were already in the business 3 years before us. Every soul we knew, which wasn't a lot, they've already talked to, recruited, right? Did an appointment with, closed the policy with. So that we start, there's no one to field train with. No, what do we do? How do we get our field trainings done? So we literally had to go through a lot of not even hot, but maybe some warm, very cold. And that's, again, where the pastry lady comes in, right? Thank God for her. But think about that. So when we understood that if we stay in a possibility, because what we do is so good for people, it's noble. We don't take anything from anyone. All we do is give, right? Every single time we sit across an individual, their life is better because of you. Whether they start, whether they buy, whether they continue, irrelevant. Just having a conversation with you. Maybe you planted a seed in their mind to start thinking about their future a little bit better. Maybe you planted a seed for them to start dreaming a little bit. Maybe to look at their life in completely different view. Because most people settle, don't you agree? And it's sad. And what I loved about your leaders, no matter how fast they were growing, how fast they were moving, they never settled. There's a saying, it says the hardest people to move are the content, Write that down because that's important. The hardest people to move are the content. If they're content with what? Staying the same? Do you understand? We're not after the titles or the money. Your leaders have never cared. Till today, I don't think Michelle knows how to go and check her commission because she's never cared. She's never cared, right? Thank God for Edward because that's the point. Right? But that says so much about the person. Oh, she cared. She loved human interaction. And Edward loved building, loved talking, sitting down for hours with somebody, not even knowing if this person's going to be here tomorrow, but pouring it on because we stayed in the possibility. So when life hits you, and it does, right? Distractions, all kinds of things happen, right? So many negativity out there because you're going against the norm. 95% of people have conformed, have settled, and you are now stepping up and saying, I'm going to do something better. Do you think everyone's going to cheer for you and say, you can do it? The complete opposite. So you got to accept that and understand that. And one of my tests when I look at who's going to make it in a business or not is when they get their first big rejection. What's their energy like? From that point, I know whether this person is going to make it or not. And I remember Edward and Michelle faced one of the biggest challenges in their life. And for a moment, Jack and I thought, because it was something very tragic, we're like, I don't know if they'll come back from this. And sure enough, a month after, they were back in the office, ready to grind, more fired up than ever before. And from that point, I never questioned it ever again. I knew this is a couple that's going to be here for the long haul. No matter what happens, they will stand strong. Can we give them another hand, please? So you got to ask yourself, why does this matter, right? Why does this matter? Why do you get up and do this every day? It's not easy. This business is not easy, true? Why do you do it? I want you to write these perspectives down because if the why is clear, the how and what is easy to figure out. In the absence of the how, the what and how, the why, if you don't know the why, then the what and how won't even matter. So why do we do this? We do this because of freedom. How many of you want freedom? Complete freedom, right? So you want to be free of money. You're not after the money. You want to be free of money. Is that right? See, most homes are struggling not because they have too much money. It's because they don't have enough money, right? It's causing strain in relationships, in the way we raise our children, and, again, the mental capacity, health. So we want to be free. Right? So freedom, that's why you're doing this. So when things get a little foggy, remind yourself, I'm doing this for freedom. It's worth any price I gotta pay. True, right? Freedom, what else? Family, you're doing this for your family. You wanna change completely the generations to come. If you didn't come from a rich family has to come from you. Right? We got to change generational and create generational wealth. So we're doing this for freedom. We're doing this for our families and for many other people's families. There's people that you haven't even met that by you being here today, right now, making a decision to continue, you're already altering their life. Is that crazy? Our co-founder says that, right? Rich Dolly, he's like, I didn't know you, but I knew you were coming. That always gives me goosebumps. That always gives me chills because oh my gosh, this is incredible. Same thing with you. How many people are going to bless you and thank you for changing their family? That's the greatest way to live. It's the most fulfilling thing on the face of the earth to know that your success is in direct proportion to how many people you could help. It's wonderful. So family, freedom, what else? Impact, right? The impact you're going to make, the legacy you're going to leave. So you don't want just to get by, right? We were not created to just get by. We want to leave an impact. And lastly, as I said, it's the legacy. It's the legacy that's going to continue beyond our years. And it makes me excited knowing that whatever we're doing today, it will go on hundreds of years after we're gone. It's incredible. See, most people will give 30, 50 years of their life working at a job. And when it's done, they maybe get a retirement party, and that's it. No one thinks about them, remembers them, or talks about them. I think that's sad. It's sad, as if you never even existed. You were just a number in a system. I believe, because you were, absolutely. I believe we just got somebody started. He worked for NASA for almost 15 years. And he's getting close to 60 years old. And when we were doing his hiring interview, it's crazy because the guy's like, I've been with this company for 15 years. I've given 15 years of my life, but I have a feeling I'm going to be replaced. It wasn't even final, but he already, like they're recruiting a lot of young people, right? My income's already at a higher pace. I feel like I'm going to be replaced, so I need to do something because I need to have a plan B. He's worked 40 years of his life, 15 years has been with NASA. Think about that. And he had zero savings. He has a small little pension with NASA, but that's about it. So he had no other option. He starts with us 2 weeks later, sure enough, he gets an email. He doesn't even get a phone call. He gets an email because he's trying to log into his site. He works from home and he was declined, right? Access. So, and then he checks his email saying, thank you for your service, bye-bye. He was not allowed to go back and say bye to anybody. He was not allowed to pick up his stuff. They shipped it to him. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. They treat you as if you're a criminal. You gave your life to these people. So that's what I mean when I talk about legacy. Any price is worth paying here, knowing that this is yours. No one can take it from you. You just got to be a good person, treat people right, follow a proven duplicatable system. Any price is worth it, you guys. So that way you're not just a statistic for somebody. You're somebody that mattered. Your life mattered. And that's what I love watching every time. I watch your leadership. I watch all these incredible human beings that we've met. My gosh, I remember the first time I sat down in front of Susie even. Oh my God. And I'm like, after third appointment, she's like, Jack decides like he's not going to show up at the training with her. She freaked out. She went and did it. And she actually recruited you and your husband. Think about that, Anna and Danik. Right, Susie? First appointment after 3 appointments. And I'm like, look at that. Became independent, just took off. It's wonderful to see all these stories that are unfolding right in front of your eyes. So stay in the possibility. That's the theme of our company anyways. So anytime your mind tricks you, just think of your own leaders, look at all the success stories in front of you, and just stay in the possibility. What's possible? Because if you win, bunch of people win with you. But if you lose, bunch of people lose with you. True? Thank you so much. I know I talk too much, but I'm gonna now bring up Jack so you could go a little more tangible. I know mine is very intangible, but Jack is gonna give you some tangibles. We've talked to your leadership and we've discussed what we're gonna go over. So we're really, really excited to watch this team skyrocket and break every single record because that's joy to our hearts. And literally, we will never forget the beginning. We'll never forget the beginning. This is incredible. So stay in a possibility, you guys. Grateful for you all. Thank you.
Isn't my wife incredible? All right, love that. How many of you are in the business with your partner? Let's give them a big round of applause. Great job. And those of you that have a partner and your partner's not in the business, your partner is the first person to recruit on board, okay? And those of you that don't have a partner, get married, find one, okay? It's the greatest thing ever. All right. Man, what a great message. I get inspired by my wife every time. She said, stay in the possibility. That's really powerful. That's really powerful. All right, let's go. Narbe, I got this. If you could put my PowerPoint up, we get right into it. And then we got some big announcements. I want to make sure everybody is here to the end. How many of you believe freedom is important? Yes. Okay, freedom is your birthright. Yes. How many of you have ever come across a prospect where you mention the company you are with and they go, I already know WFG. How many of you heard of that? Yes. I'm here to tell you something. If you catch it, this could change your entire future. Listen to this. If you and I go talk to 1,000 people around the town that say they have heard of World Financial Group, listen closely. We cannot find one person, one, how many? One that knows what World Financial Group is. Yes. Let me prove it to you. If we go ask about, hey, have you heard of our firm? What would people say if they know about it? They say yes, and if you ask them, what did you hear? Who are we? What are we? What would they say? Insurance company, right? You guys do life insurance. What else would they say? Oh, it's that meeting where you guys clap. It's the meeting where you gather twice a week. What else would they say? It's a cult. It's a pyramid. Well, those are the people who have no clue about what they're talking about, right? What else? They will say a whole bunch of things. They will say finances, but they will not tell you the real truth because they don't know. Because our company exists for only one reason. By the way, we're not an insurance company. We're not a cult. We're not a multi-level. We're not a pyramid. That's a bunch of baloney, right? But we are none of those. This company exists for one reason, is to create financial freedom for millions of people around the globe. You cannot run into one prospect that can say, oh, World Financial Group, yeah, I know that company. Man, that company's on a big movement to create freedom for everybody. No one will say that. Here's the question, why? Why is it that we are the greatest, largest financial organization on the face of the earth to build financial freedom for millions of people globally, yet if you go to your neighborhood and ask those that have heard about your company, you cannot find a single prospect that says that this company is about financial freedom. Why do you think that is? Why? Why? It's because of who? It's because of what? Us, right? It's what message we transfer to the community. It's what we stand for, okay? Because the outside world is a reflection of us, right? We get to tell our story to the people every day. You are the light of the population out there for you to really be able to get people to understand what is it that we're about. Because when Karine and I came in this business, we did not come here for financial services. If our trainer said, hey, come get licensed, do insurance, I personally would not be here. I was an optician. We had a store in Encino here in Ventura Boulevard. Was not thinking of changing from optics to finance. That's two completely different things. But that's not why we came here. We came because somebody spoke the truth to us. They asked a question, how long are you planning to live this way? Because they saw us struggle. 6-7 days a week working, 10-12 hours days. Sometimes we were there till midnight. We were struggling. Sometimes they would call us their family friends and say, hey, let's go take a family cruise and let's go have vacation. We couldn't. We have no time. We have no money. And she asked a question, how long are you willing to live this way? And she said one day, why would you even want to work for money anyways? You know that working for money, it's the worst way to make money. I was like, what do you mean? Everybody works for money. And she said, no. Right? Successful people don't work for money. They work for satisfaction. They provide service for money. I was like, wait a minute, what did you say? I had a shift, right? So bottom line is we got recruited in this company, not because of finance, it's because we were sold a dream that we could become financially free building this business. So I believe if you speak the right language to the right people, I promise you, you're going to have an army of people, and your leadership is amazing at that. And that's why they, build this tremendous organization with all the great SMDs and the leaders in it, right? Give yourself a big round of applause. Give your leadership a big round of applause. Every single leader that's leading you, if you're in their base shops, respect them, right? Be coachable to them. Stay aligned because they are leading you to great places. I promise you that. We know every single one of your leaders. They're amazing people. We go way back. We've traveled together. We spent lots of days together. We've been through thick and thin together, okay? So let's talk about building your freedom because this meeting is not about us, it's about you. Yes? All right. So, Narbet, this is on? There you go. Okay. Just a few things about the company so you know. When we got started, it was 2004. I don't have the numbers here on the screen. It shows from 2011 and on. But when we got started, our first convention was in Vegas. We go in. I was blown away. There was 9,800 agents in MGM. I was blown away watching that we're part of a company that big because we were in a Glendale office. We thought, oh, it's just a bunch of people clap and they talk about they claim that they're the biggest company in finance and stuff. You don't see it until you go see the big picture, right? And then you look at today. Today we have some leaders that run their own conventions because we don't fit into arenas, right? We have 93,000 licensed agents. We saw the company go from 9,800 to 93,000. Well, guess what? We're in a virtual reality right now. Back then, we did this business through field training. With the virtual reality working remotely, having an opportunity to go from building in one zip code, now you could build in 41,600 zip codes. That's how many zip codes there are in America. You got to think big. Edward and Michelle know this. They were part of this. We built 16 and a half years in one city. And then after COVID, we went 41 states in less than 5 years. What changed? The timing is right now better than ever before. Fast forward, 2011, company was doing $299 million in revenue. 2015, WFG grew to 732, just a few years later. 2020, we were at 965 million as a company. Not the size of the company. That's how much in total sales was made. That's how much commissions were paid to you, to the field force, to all the licensed agents. A year later, look at this, 2021, WFG did 1.1 billion. 2022, we were at 1.3 billion. Next year, we did 1.37 billion. 2024, company was at 1.5 billion. 2025, last year, closed the year with over $1.6 billion. Every year, our company has been growing and breaking records in the highest paid industry in the world. You think you're at the right place at the right time? Yeah. Absolutely, but you got to seize the moment. You got to catch the opportunity, because who cares if the door opens? They say, one door closes in life and another one opens. Right, but not a lot of people walk through that door. Right? The door is open for you. If you take this moment, this opportunity, and clear your mind from all the things that don't work and focus on the right things, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, you will change your life the next 3 years. I know that. I know that. What we did in 20 years, you can do it in 3 years or less. I know that because our time was brick and mortar. Man, I remember driving to an appointment in traffic, right? 6 p.m., go 6:30 appointment, 8:30 appointment. Only you could do 2. You can't do the third one because it will be too late. Now you could be home running 5 appointments on Zoom in one night. It's unbelievable. You could go out of your zip code. You could do appointments anywhere. You could be in 5 states from your own home on Zoom in one day. We couldn't do that stuff back then. We couldn't convince any of our leaders, hey, take your family, move out of state, go to another state, let's open a new office there. We couldn't do that. Today we have offices all over the country. It's insane the amount of growth that's happening right now in the company. Okay? I want to share with you some numbers. Okay? Is that okay? Yes. All right. If those of you that are not numbers people, you're not a numbers person, you're more about stories and stuff, I'll blend the two. I get it. Okay? Some brains love numbers, some brains hate numbers. I'm a combination of two. Okay? All right, I love stories, but I also love to share numbers. Okay, let's talk about this platform. Why the WFG platform could help you become successful. All right, there's two main parts to our business model. If you understand this, no one can mess with you. Nobody could sit in front of you and convince you that this is not good, okay? You got to understand this. All right, now everybody starts in our business at the bottom, which is what? Trainee associate. How do you move up? There's promotional guidelines. Promotional guidelines are based on your performance, not the upline's decision. Is that good to know? Yes. Like Karine was saying, you could be at a corporate job, you pray every day, they give you a raise, and somebody else at the top has to decide. Over here, you decide your next promotion. You perform, you get promoted. You don't perform, you don't get promoted. Would you say it's fair? Yes. You can't blame nobody. It's pretty fair to me, right? Each level has certain number of families you have to help or certain number of licenses you have to go to the next level. It's almost like a game, right? I love creativity. How many of you like creativity? It's like a game, okay? It's like, hey, let's knock one thing out of the way and then we got the next challenge ahead. Okay, how do we get to this one? Right? Play in your mind, talk to leadership, put the strategy, put a plan of action, boom, attack. Let's get after it. Boom, we got that out of the way. Let's now go focus on the next one. Every time you're going up in this company, you have to take other people to the top with you. I love our platform because we're here to destroy the corporate pyramid model. We don't believe in pyramids. We don't believe you should work under somebody for the rest of your life. We believe that you should have ownership for yourself, which I'll get to in a minute. But what we also believe is that actually, it's not just what I believe, it is what it is. You cannot go to the top unless you move people with you to the top. In corporate America, you have to keep people in the bottom because if they come and take your chair at the top, you're not going to share your business with them. There's no ownership split. You can't do that, right? So you start from a trainee associate, go up to associate, become senior associate. Next step is MD, and next step is SMD. That's when you become a broker, known as an owner inside World Financial Group. And at an owner level, you get to override everybody in the company, not just your team. You get to override a small production of 93,000 agents production, which is pretty awesome. But I want you to catch this. Why does it say temporary income? Because when you become a broker, you're running your own agency, you're an SMD, it's still temporary. Yes, you have a higher contract, you personally produce, you see clients, you make money. You got MDs perform, SAs, associates, training associates. Company pays you different layers of override for training, coaching, spending time with those people. I love the fact that our income does not come from our team. Our money doesn't come from our clients' money. We don't make money from each other. All of our money comes from the financial companies. They pay us for helping you become successful. Where do you find that? Your leaders have a vested interest in your growth. How many of you have a job? Your boss does not have a vested interest in your growth. Don't be that loyal to them, okay? I understand we need a paycheck for a while, but don't be that loyal to them. Here, your SMD has a vested interest in your growth, right? They are committed for you to win because part of your success is part of their success. Make sense? But you got to SMD, sure, you got few layers of overrides, you're producing, but I still believe this is a temporary income. Meaning it's performance-based. If you don't perform, not much happens, okay? So then we have the right side. It's called permanent income. What's permanent income? Permanent income is when not only you're SMD, but you're starting to build SMDs. The reason I share this to you, so you don't get stuck on the left side thinking you're an insurance agent and all you do is produce policies. Don't get stuck there. The big success, the big money comes to those who build other SMDs. Your biggest production is to produce SMDs. Okay? So if somebody tells me, oh, is this that insurance business? I go, I don't know what you're talking about. We do that too, but no, let me tell you what we do. We're in a leadership development business. We recruit, license, produce, and develop leaders. We bring individuals into the industry and build owners like franchisees, right? Except we don't have a franchise fee. So the left side is where you become a broker. The right side is when you build brokers, right? You guys get that? And that's permanent income right there. How many of you want permanent income? What's permanent income? Permanent income means even if the left side wasn't actively producing, the right side, you've built not one generation, but multiple generations of SMDs that your income continues and non-stop keeps coming. Who knows how many times we get paid in a month? We get 8 pay cycles a month. How many of you want to have 8 pay cycles every Tuesday, every Friday, your name to be on there and you want to get paid and you want to have a comma check and double-digit comma check every cycle, yes? Build the right side. Hurry up and get to the broker level as an SMD so then for the rest of your career, you could start to build other people. Why? Because if you're not an SMD, you can't build SMDs. You can't give somebody something that you're not experiencing. Hurry up and get to SMD, and for the rest of your career, build SMD. All you got to do is build first generation, right? Your first will build the second will build the third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and then beyond sixth, right? We don't get paid in overrides, but we get paid in, it's called AG. The company launched something last year, it's called AG. Anybody knows what AG stands for? AG stands for all generation, okay? For some of you, that's probably too soon to discuss this. All generation. Imagine you in this virtual reality, in this platform, imagine you 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Imagine you've built strong first generation SMDs that have gone to sixth and gone way beyond it. And let's say you have 10,000 licensed agents, 4,000 of them are all the way in your sixth generation, and the other 6,000 agents are beyond your sixth. You don't get paid no more, right? Well, company has something called all generation SMDs, which I will not really get into explain it, but later look it up, right? There's really powerful things that happen in all generation bonuses where the company allows you to get a piece of the pie of the entire company's profit. That's 1.6 billion and growing. So the big money is not in selling insurance and annuities, right? That's what we do to help protect families and build wealth for our clients. But the big work here every day is building leaders, developing people, identifying your next superstar and growing SMDs and building a generational business where you could have what? You could have permanent income. How many of you think if you had permanent income, it would change your life? I promise you life will become so much more peaceful where you know you don't have to wake up to go to work every day. You still have a cycle that's coming next day. You know, here in WFG, check this out. Every day is either the payday, or the day before the payday, or the day after the payday. Think about that again. Let me say that again. Every day in WFG is right before the payday, right? Like today's what? Saturday? Okay, so Monday night on the WFG app, we'll see what's coming on Tuesday. Every day is like one day before the payday, or it's the payday, or it's the day after the payday where the check gets deposited in your account. And then the following day, it's the day before the payday, and the following day is the payday again. It's unbelievable what happens when you start building SMDs. Right? Some of you have to start looking at this business differently. Sure, you got to learn about how to produce, help families understand the financial products, understand how to give presentations, do F&As, and do all that stuff. But don't get caught up in sales. Get caught up in building people. Develop leaders. All right? Can I show you, if you do this, what it could do for you? Yes or no? Yes. Right? I'll give you a glimpse of one of the bonus pools, okay? Because the other one's too complex. Later, when you build SMDs, we'll go over it again. Just this right here. Look what it says. Executive super base. What's a super base? Super base means when you have a base shop as an SMD, your agency. Super base means when you start building your first generation SMDs. Okay? Now, some of you might go, Jack, I'm not an SMD yet. Why are you talking about building SMDs? I'll get there. I'm coming from far. Okay? Super base means you have lots of first generation SMDs. Okay? So look at the first bubble, the yellow. Look what it says there. 2 million. You see the 2 million? Yes. When you and your first generation SMDs, it's almost like you own a restaurant and you got 10 other restaurants. That's what it means, right? That does 2 million in annual sales. You get a $20,000 additional bonus as an SMD beginning of the year, which is as an executive beginning of the year. Your team doubles, you build more SMDs, you get to 4 million, they give you a 40,000 bonus. Your first generation goes to 6 million, they give you another 60,000 annual bonus. 8 million, they give you 80,000 bonus. This is on top of all the monthly bonuses that we get paid. We have a lot of different bonuses. But this is just bonuses for you to build SMDs. Right? If I go make a sale, I write a $5,000 annual premium IUL policy. If I'm on a 50% contract on a $5,000, I get paid how much? $2,500. But if I start building SMDs, right, they pay me $20,000, $40,000, $60,000, $100,000, right? Most people don't even make $100,000 a year at their job. Here, just the bonuses are over $100,000 at one point when you start to build SMDs. Unbelievable business model. Yes or no? Yes. All right. So let's talk about the power of ownership, okay? When you become SMD, you're an owner of your own company. You're an owner of what? You're an owner of your own company. You own your own business inside World Financial Group. You know, I tell you a quick story, very quick. Yesterday, I'm having a Zoom meeting with this guy. He owns a trucking company. This guy makes $60 million, okay, in a year. Very successful in Illinois, Moldovan community. He's a pilot, you know, he's a very nice guy. And anyways, we had a Zoom meeting, and his wife wants to get into financial business, okay? She just got a license, and we have a meeting. They're talking about whether they should open an LLC, have their own agency, or they should plug their license within our agency and do this. They're debating. Anytime somebody compares something else to ours, I don't even discuss that because my stuff is way too good. I can't even compare. You get it? You got to keep this thing way above. It's like, what's the difference between WFG agency and this? I'm like, you know what you're saying, George? His name is George. I said, you're saying, it's like, what's the difference of owning a major franchise restaurant, multiple franchises, versus opening up a little hamburger shop? Like, you can't even compare those two, right? And I told him, I said, hey, within our company, I said, you don't do the payroll. Company does all of that, right? We hold seminar. We're in the seminar marketing. You can't do that when you have your own tiny little LLC. How are you going to market? Okay? Our company holds $12 million conventions. I said every year we take 400 or 500 agents. Some come back and get inspired and boom, go become a broker, branch out, go open up their own office. You can't do that at your own LLC. You can't train your people how to go open up their own agency because if they leave, you lose all your overrides. You lost it. You don't have bonus pools where you override a percentage of the entire company's growth. You don't have any of this stuff. And anyways, the guy was like, I never thought of that. This is a really powerful platform you're part of. And I said, yeah, you know, give me some time. I said, we'll think about you and we'll revisit maybe in about a week or so, right? And I entice and I withdraw. Okay, I want you to write that down. Entice and withdraw. Entice and withdraw. The biggest challenge some of our new teammates have is they go, excuse my language, but they go throw up on people with too much information. and then you scare people and they don't get interested in your business. You have to learn how to entice, meaning create some curiosity and pull back. Let them chase you. You stay professional. You stay high, okay? Let's talk about the power of our SMD promotion. Watch this, okay? I don't know if you know the new guidelines. There's been some changes happening, okay? This is pretty awesome. Moving forward, senior marketing director promotions in the company. This is where you become an owner. You require 2 direct MD legs. The more the better. It's like if you have a stool, right? Isn't it true that if the stool has more legs, it's more secure? Yes or no? If it had 1, what would happen? It would fall, right? 2 direct MD legs. Total 10 licenses on your team. Out of 10 licenses, 2 have to become MDs, okay? You could build this within 90 to 120 days from scratch if you really were to focus. If you were really to focus. Total of 90,000 team points in rolling 90 days. I'll explain to you what that means in a minute in case you don't know what that is. And 50,000 rolling 12 months cash flow. You become an owner in the most powerful business platform in the highest paid industry on the face of the planet. That's not the end. Your career begins at SMD. Now the company says, okay, this person's proven themselves. They're serious. They make 50,000 cash flow. They've helped some families within 90-day time frame within their team. With their team, there's 10 licenses. 2 are strong MDs. Here's the ownership. Now your business starts. Now your job is to build SMDs. How many of you are catching a good new perspective? Yes? Different ways of looking at things? Okay. Let me break it down so you know what I'm talking about here. Okay? Is structure important? Yes. Okay. So why do I need 2 MDs, Jack? Wasn't it 1 before? Well, we always encourage 2, but some people would go with 1. But now it's official. You can't be SMD with 1 because it's not safe. Okay? You don't want to be the one-legged stool that you lean on 1 and then it could fall, right? You want to make sure you have solid legs, yes? 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 2 become marketing director. So build your structure. Don't rush for a promotion for a title. By the way, employees always want raises and promotions, yes? Yes. All right. This is a business. We're entrepreneurs. Don't go for the title because it sounds good or pays you more. Build the foundation, your infrastructure the right way so when you build it, it could last. Yes? Okay. So structure is important. Is growth important? Yes. Okay. So therefore, part of it is growth. You got to show the company you have 10 licenses. By the way, that's team licenses, not personally you. Right? You don't think about, well, how am I going to license 10 people? Well, if you really wanted to, you can. But you could have 5 that license 1, that's 10. You could license 3 that license 3, that's already what, 9 or 10. So it's team licenses. Is impact important? Yes. Yes? How's the energy? How are we doing? Yes. Good. Okay. Impact important. So what's 90,000 points? Okay. Now, if we take 90,000, divide by per policy. Let's say a 3,000 point policy, right? $3,000 annual premium. How many policies would that be? 30, right? Okay. And that's in 3 months. If you divide 30 in 3 months, how many is that? 10 a month. How many licenses you have? 10. So if 10 licenses, each one help 1 family a month, 3 months in a row, you're an owner inside our company. It can't get any easier than that because what's below 1? 0. Okay, 0 means you're stuck. But 1 means you're at least moving. True? So if you got 10 licenses, help 1 a month, 3 months in a row, and you got 2 of them are MDs, you become an owner within our company. Now, is success important? Yes. Okay? So part of that, they want to make sure in rolling 12 months you have $50,000 cash flow. Okay? So now you might say, well, Jack, so which one do I focus on? Should I focus on my licenses? Should I focus on my cash? Should I focus on the 90,000 points? Should I focus on MDs? I'm confused. How do I get there? Okay? Do you think it's important to have a system to follow? Yes. Okay? Look at this. We have the most incredible system to build SMDs, you guys. Unbelievable system. By the way, hearing this doesn't change anything. If you really start to understand and dissect this and run it, it is the most accurate system to build SMDs ever. All right? This is our model. We recruit, we license, we produce, and we develop leaders. All right, everybody say it with me. We recruit, we license, we produce, and we develop leaders. All right, tell your neighbor. We recruit, we license, we produce, we develop leaders. That's our system. That's our system, okay? Now, does our income come from recruiting? No. Does our income come from licensing? No. When does our income come? When we produce. This is a business, right? So when we produce, so when you recruit people, you want to license them and train them quick. And then the next phase for them is they start producing and start making money and becoming net license is where they start getting paid. And then from that third group, the producers group, you identify your next key players, you train and develop them to become the next leaders. That's how we build SMDs, okay? This is our everyday focus. Every single day, this is all we focus on is recruit, license, produce, build leaders, right? Recruiting leads to licensing and training. Licensing and training leads to production and net licenses. What's a net license? Net license is a licensed person who makes their first $1,000, right? How fast are you focused to make sure your teammates make their first $1,000? If that's a must for you, and then from those producers, you identify the key players, you train and develop them on how do they become SMD. Once you're SMD, what do you do? Once, let's say you're SMD, what do? Same things. Plug some people into our machine, get them licensed and trained, help them make money, teach them presentations, help them start producing, and then from that group, identify the key players, boom, develop them to become the next SMD. That's our system. It has never been faster and clearer and simpler than ever. This is genius, you guys, okay? How many of you are going to be the next SMD? All right. How about on Zoom? Let me see on Zoom. Zoom, how are we doing? Are you guys all fired up? Okay, good. All right. All right, let's read what it says in the bottom. Look at that. It says the application of the simple system on a consistent basis leads to an inevitable explosion. That's my favorite word. What does inevitable mean? It's predictable. It's going to happen. It's guaranteed almost, right? It's absolutely powerful, you guys. All right, let's take a look. I want to show you some numbers here. All right, Narbe, it's not clicking. Can you click for me? Okay, there you go. All right, so how many of you want to have a recruiting explosion? You feel like, Jack, all of this is great, but I want to make sure, how can I learn how to attract more people to my business? How many of you want to learn how to do that? All right, so where do recruits come from? Huh? All right, prospect leads to what? An appointment, which leads to an appointment, field training. That leads to what? A follow-up or a startup, right? Recruiting. You guys know the system. Your leadership talks about this. But I want to give you something as far as a mindset of the recruiting, okay? If, Narbe, can you click this? Yeah. If you are struggling with recruiting, it's because you are trying to feed them with so much facts. You know who said this? Rich Daly, our co-founder. You are trying to feed them with so much facts. When I heard this at once, I start to analyze. I was like, man, that is so true. We try to give them all the ways of how our business works, and you want people to make a decision, right? How many of you here are a little bit more extra on the logical side? You're maybe a little structure, technical. Okay. You probably struggle with recruiting a little bit. Okay? Yes, because we're trying to feed them with a lot of facts. We have to learn how to sell people dream emotionally. If our trainer, like I said, came and said, hey, here's the facts, here's what you do, this is what you sell, here's what you make, this is what you do, nobody would make a decision like that. You know why? Because human beings, we make decisions how? Emotionally. And then we justify it logically. So you have to learn how to sell a dream to people emotionally. Like if I came to Arik, I would say, man, Arik, what do you have going on? What do you do? Let's say outside of the BH.
Engineer.
You're an engineer. How's that going for you? Wow, you've been an engineer for a long time?
10 years.
10 years? That's crazy. That's a long time. Well, look, we have a lot of engineers in our company. One of the things we hear a lot from engineers is they love what they do. They like to create. They're very analytical in their thought process. But most of them, they're kind of stuck the same place and they don't see much progress. Is that the same with you, or are you a different kind of an engineer?
Sounds familiar.
There you go. I always like to bring a third-party example. See, I got them curious, like, what are engineers doing in his company? Right? But if I was to now talk to you about the business, I say, all right, if let's say you're my friend, I say, look, you asked me, how are you? I said, I'm great, thank you, business is fine. But you know what? I haven't told you, Karine and I just got started a part-time business with some friends in the financial field. Man, we are so excited about it. It's giving us a chance to pay off our debt, buy our dream home, be able to work together as a couple. And you know what, frankly, we want to help a lot of people and we want to make a lot more money. We're sick and tired of living paycheck to paycheck, and this business is just unbelievable. It's giving us a chance to achieve some of our goals and dreams. What did I just do? Did I give any facts as far as any numbers? No, it's all about what? My story, yes? Right? But then if I want to talk to him about the business, I say, if somebody comes and says, you know what, but I'm not a finance guy. I say, I know that. Of course you're not a finance guy. You're a what? Engineer, right? But let me tell you why a lot of engineers win in this business, all right? Not because of finance, it's because our business has a model that allows you to grow and multiply, right? And leverage your time and your money. So this way, you could at one point live on passive income. Can you imagine if you could at one point travel with your wife and you still have passive income coming in? You don't have to clock in, clock out. You don't have to be at a job every day. What am I doing? I'm emotionally getting him engaged with his dreams. He's starting to visualize what's possible for him. Yes? You got to learn how to sell a dream to people instead of feeding them with so much facts. Don't give them facts and information. Back up your emotions with facts, but don't feed them facts. Right? Don't feed them facts. Back it up. If now he comes and says, sure, but let me see the structure, how it works, then I will show him. But at first, sell people a dream of what's possible for them. Don't sell them finance or insurance. If I want to sell insurance, I will not talk about what insurance is. I'll talk about what insurance does. Right? If I was talking to you as a client perspective, instead of saying I'm a financial professional, instead of saying I'm an agent, instead of saying I do life insurance annuities, I could say I create wealth for families. I create financial freedom for people. Right? Are you guys catching this? Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, a few more. We don't build life insurance agents. We build crusaders that educate people against poverty, against debt, against low savings habits, against taxes, right, into creating financial freedom. That's what we do. We build crusaders. Our entire business model is about building leaders with vision that could help people with dreams. Because conviction, your belief, strong belief, has power. Has power. Conviction has power. People respond to conviction. They don't respond to words. See, here's the one thing about conviction. You don't have to make other people believe in order for them to join you. You have to show them that you believe so then they could join you. Did you guys get that? Yes. Don't get other people to believe that this is good. Let them see that you believe in what you're talking about. And that's how you have a massive recruiting explosion, okay? Look at the power of one. I'm going to show you once you activate your recruiting. In other words, you start to think like a business person, okay? By the way, do business owners recruit? Every business recruits. The only people who don't recruit are those who get recruited. If you have a job, you got recruited. Maybe at one point you want to switch the roles and you be the boss, you be the owner, you start recruiting, okay? Like, I used to be scared of the word recruit, you guys, because I thought recruiting means you take something from them. Or I thought recruiting means you recruit so you can make money off of people, until I realized you can't make money when you recruit, okay? The only reason we recruit is because of two things. Write this down. You recruit for two reasons. Number one, to give people an opportunity. And number two, for you to grow them and help them become a leader. Okay? For you to license them and build them to become a leader. Let's talk about the power of one real quick, okay? I want you guys to catch this. If you recruit, license, produce, build leaders, what can happen, okay? Look at the power of one. How many of you have at least one license on your team? Anybody have 5 licenses on their team? Anybody have 10? Okay. Get your first 10, and then watch what happens if you could understand the power of the word. If you just speak the right things, watch what could happen. Just to speak the right thing. Some of you think the hard work, just the hard work right here, lots of hours, lots of hard work, you think that's the big power. I'm here to tell you, your tongue has more power than physical hard work. All of us talk. The average person talks about 60 to 90,000 words. We have about 60 to 90,000 thoughts in a day. We're all thinking and talking anyways. If you can speak the right things, your business will explode. Let's take a look at the power of one. Let's say you have 10 licenses on your team. You might say, I don't have 10, I have 3. Great. Yeah, let's say you have 3. Figure out. But this example is on 10. If everybody licensed one person next 30 days, what would your team look like? What would your team look like? 20. If you spoke the right language, right? If I talk to all my agents about selling a policy, then all I have is insurance agents. But if I say, hey, do you want to be a producer or you want to be an owner, overwrite 93,000 agents. And I could sell you on power of ownership. Yeah, I want the owner. Okay, for owner, you got to not only produce policies, you produce licenses, right? I get you to understand licensing. Now I got you to talk about licensing. If I could get you to talk about licensing, now I'm multiplying, you're multiplying. Now if 20 licenses, next month license 1, what would your team look like? If 40 licenses, each one license 1, what would your team look like? What would your team look like? What would it look like? If each person licensed 1, what would it look like? Look at this. You guys, this is not hard. How many of you recruited somebody last 30 days? Everybody, right? Pretty much, yes? If you haven't, then start thinking that direction. How many of you licensed somebody last 30 days? Could you recruit and license someone in 30 days? Yes or no? Yes. So it's pretty simple. So the question is then, why isn't our team this big yet? Okay? And that example is not even at the top what it is to say. It's everyone in the team adds 1 you license in a year. Even if you add it in a year, it should still look like that. Why we're not there yet? Why? Because too many times, many of our agents, when we come in this business, we don't see the big picture. We only see producing products. We don't understand the power of building. Ask yourself right now, last 90 days, how many people did I license? Last 6 months, how many people did I license? Last 12 months, how many people did I license? If you didn't, or you didn't have much, maybe you got to start thinking that direction. Because once this takes off, it takes off. Today, currently, as a hierarchy between us and Edward and Michelle, as 2 EVC hierarchies, we're about to, by end of next month or so, we'll cross the 1,000 license mark. But now I'm thinking, man, we could have done this so much faster. Why? Because that was not the direction we were talking years ago. Okay? Now, why licensing? Well, let me ask you a question. Does Uber want more licensed drivers around the world? Yes. Of course. Does Starbucks want more licensed outlets around the world? Yes. Of course. Every business wants more licensed outlets. You have more licensed outlets. We could put more licenses in the field. More families could get financial education. More cash flow, more revenue will come for everybody. That's why becoming successful is not complicated. Making more money is pretty easy. Because money doesn't come from hard work. It comes from helping people. Helping people comes from having lots of licenses. If Uber wants to double their income next year, they got to double the number of ride shares, right? Or rides they give to people. To double the number of rides, they got to double the number of licensed drivers. Is this making sense? Yes. Okay? If you do this, guess what's going to happen if you focus on that? I want to show you something really powerful. 3 examples. If you were thinking in terms of growth instead of just being an agent, in terms of growth. Let's say you hit your 100,000 income this year. This works on any number, or it could be 10,000 or 50,000. Example here is on 100,000. And let's say, here, watch me. You position yourself on a 20% growth. You commit that I'm going to have 20% growth in my business every year. How? Well, if I want growth in cash flow comes from where? Production, helping people. That means I need more families to be helped, 20% more families to be helped. If I want 20% more families to be helped, what do I need? 20% more licenses. If I want 20% more licenses, what do I need? 20% more in recruiting. If I want 20% more in recruiting, what do I need? 20% more what? In presentations, appointments. If I want 20% growth in that, what do I need? Prospecting. If I want 20% more in that, what do I need? Where does all of that come from? I need to talk that direction. To speak that direction, words come out of where? Thoughts. That means I have to think that direction. See, I reverse engineered. Now let me go the other way around. If you think growth, you will speak growth, you will act growth, you will see licensing growth, you'll see production growth, you'll see cash flow growth. So therefore, there's 2 kinds of mindsets. I want everybody to write this down. Your cash flow is not where it is because that's all you could make. You could be multimillionaires, all of you. You're in a business that has no limits, but there's 2 kinds of mindsets. Growth mindset and fixed mindset. Fixed mindset person says, well, I can never make more, I'm not good enough, this is all I could do, it's not for me, I'm fine, I don't need a lot of money. That's fixed mindset. Self-sabotage. It's called learned helplessness. Okay? You programmed yourself that you're not good enough and you're fine where you are. Karine said it earlier, right? The hardest people to move are those who are content, who are set where they are. Growth-minded person says, hey, it may not even be about money, but I want growth. I get bored staying the same. How many of you get bored staying the same all the time? I get bored out of myself if I stay the same for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I love growth. I love change, right? So growth mindset. So anyways, look at that. Left side, and you could take a picture of this so you could have it. If you have $100,000 income right now, and you license 20% more people in the production, next year, 20% on 100,000 is 120. Following year, same formula. You license more people, help more families. Your cash flow 20% growth goes to 144,000. Third year, you'll be 172,000. Fourth year, you'll be at 207. Fifth year, you'll be at 248. Year 10, your cash flow will be 619. This is just on a 20% growth. I looked at our hierarchies combined, both net EVC teams combined. Last 12 months, we had 47% growth in licensing and production. We're talking about 20%. So if it's 47%, and I look at a year before, we were like 39 or so. The year before, we were like 28. So let's say 30. I could now take that track record and predict the future. I could tell you what the future is going to look like. I know what the 30% we're going, where we're going to be next year, and the following year, and the following year. This business is so predictable, but you got to think this direction. 20 years later, your cash flow will be what? If it's 100,000 now, $3.8 million. 20 years is going to pass like this. At your job, you'll never be at 3.8 million. And this is not a 50% growth. This is just a 20% growth. If all you did is just make a decision here that I'm going to be the person who's thinking and talking and acting as growth. Let's say you got your $250,000 cash flow. Some of you in this room, you make more than $250,000. If you're $250,000, you're on a 20% growth. 5 years later, you'll be at 622. 10th year, you'll be 1.5. 20th year, your cash flow will be almost $10 million. If you're a $500,000 income, 5th year, your income will be $3 million. 15th year, you'll be 7.7. 20th year will be 19 million. See, you can't tell me, oh, these are nice numbers, but it won't happen. You can't tell me that because it's math. It doesn't lie. It's just 20% growth. 20% growth, you guys, right? Can you make a decision today that you're going to go think about growth and you're going to talk about growth? Here's one of the leaders in the company years ago said this, and I never forget this. They said, you got to be so aware that every time your mouth opens and you talk to people, anytime something comes out of your mouth, you got to be conscious to ask yourself a question. Is what I'm saying right now to my people is activating something in them so they could grow? If no, then I should zip it and never say it. Be a person that when your mouth opens, other people's lives multiply and get better. If you can't do that, don't talk. If you're going to say something negative, don't say it all. Right? Every time your mouth opens as a person, as a leader, make sure somehow your words impact somebody that activates something in them for them to take inspired action, go change their life. Can you become that person? We're not any better than you. We're below average IQ or normal people. Got started here. We're broken mentally, financially, and so many different ways. We arrived to the scene. This company changed our life. It helped us shift here. Right? How are we doing? Great. All right, I want to leave you with this. I want everybody to write this down. All of this is great, but it's very important you understand this one. There's 5 levels you could play this game at. There's 5 levels you could play at as an entrepreneur. 5 levels. First level you could play this business at, it's called bad. When we all start, we're all really bad at the business. How many of you agree? Every master was once a disaster. We were terrible in the beginning at this business. Our trainer said, don't do this, we will go do that. They would say, just say enough to make an appointment, don't explain. I would catch myself 30 minutes on the phone doing a presentation and running into a scenario of disaster. We were terrible at the business. Maybe it was below bad. But everybody starts here bad. Guess where most people quit? At that stage, bad. 95% of the people that quit, they quit because they're bad at the business. You talked to a few people, you got rejected, you got discouraged, your feelings got hurt, and you said, this isn't for me. You confused the beginning with the end. You thought you're always going to stay like that, so you quit. I hate to say, I hope I'm wrong, but some of you will not be here 12 months from now. Only because of one thing. You will not choose to go from bad to average, to good, to excellent, to elite, right? Most people stay at bad. Now, the second level you could play at, it's called average. What's average? Average means you finally learn, or maybe just got okay at setting appointments, and you're able to bring someone and your leader does the presentation and you're okay. I mean, you still probably don't do your appointments right, and you wait for somebody else to come and close for you, and you're an average player, okay? What's the third one? Listen, the minimum what God expects of us is to at least be good. That's the minimum. You got to get good at whatever it is that you do. Anything below good, it's not going to work. How many of you ever had somebody ask, well, how long have you been in that business? Or how long does it take to become SMD? How many of you ever got those questions? Wrong question. If somebody asks you, how long does it become to become SMD? It's a wrong question. You don't say this long or that long. The answer is, I don't know. It depends. How long will you stay bad? How long will you stay average? Or how fast can you get good? Has nothing to do with the time. I hear it all the time. Oh, I used to be in WFG, it wasn't for me. Really? Financial freedom wasn't for you? Time with your family wasn't for you? Passive income 8 times a month wasn't for you? Learning how to save money, get out of debt, pay less taxes wasn't for you? What are you talking about? Well, let me guess. You quit because you were not good in the business. They go, how did you know? Well, it doesn't take a genius to find out. So can you speak this level? Challenge people's thinking. Okay? People don't quit because our business is bad. People quit because they're bad. They're at the bad stage. Okay? The least God expects of us is to be what? Good at what you do. Hey, you're in a financial business. If you want to sit down and serve a family, you should at least be good at what you do. Right? You want people to say, what a pleasant person that was. I really enjoyed our conversation. Even if they don't buy anything from you. Even if they don't join you, at least they should enjoy the conversation they had with you. Instead of, oh my God, who is this jerk? Or you know what? I'm so glad they left. They wasted my time. I don't even know what they were talking about. That's called being a knowing, right? That's the first 2 stages. The least God expects of us is at least good. But you know what? You don't win at good. It's a good is a good start. But the 4th level you could play this business, you become excellent at what you do. You become an excellent person of what you do. You become excellent at what you do. Look at sports. How many of you are sport fans? Name me a sport. Hockey? Okay, in hockey or basketball or anything. Who gets paid the best? The person who is the best. Right? Why is it in basketball there are some people that are like backup players, they have a $300,000-$400,000 contract, and then there's some people playing on the same field making millions of dollars on the same team. Same sport, same team, same coach, same colleagues, same location, same field. What's the difference? Performance. Mindset. There you go. One's bad or okay or good. The other one's excellent. Or 5th level you could play at is become elite player. You know what? Elite player doesn't mean, elites, they're not any better than you. It's just elites have a different level of thinking where it's no longer about them and it's no longer about money. It's about how do I make an impact? How do I help other people win? It's a whole different level of mindset. Let's be honest. When we all start, we're somehow selfish. We only think about ourselves. Our feelings, our income, me, my success, my promotion, me. We all start like that. But if you move towards good, towards excellent, and at one point, right, my goal for you is that you really become elite at this. Your entire focus is, how do I really focus on building leaders? Every time we talk to your leaders, Edward and Michelle, guess what they talk about all the time? Every time. We spent hours the other day until 3:30 a.m., almost 4 a.m. at the Gaylord Hotel in Texas, in Dallas. We were like almost 3:30 a.m. at the hotel. All they talk about is you guys. How do we help our team win? How do we help our leaders win? What else can we tweak? What can we do for our people to rise faster? All they talk about is you guys. And you want to get to an elite level. Yes or no? Yes. How many of you just got a big hit on this? Yes. Okay? So the answer here is what? Self-improvement. You want to make sure that you guys get better. If you get better at what you do every day, 1% better every day, you'll be 365 times better by the end of the year. It's unbelievable. And then you focus on recruit, license, produce, build leaders. Guess what? You have a growth mindset, you guys will skyrocket. 2026 will become your best year ever. We just started the year. Can't believe month is already over. Today's the last day of the first month, right? Let's make the first quarter really strong. This first 2 quarters strong. The second half of the year very strong. And make 2026 your best year ever. You are a decision away, a decision. Human beings are very slow sometimes at making decisions. Make a decision. All we're asking for is grow and help other people. That's it. If you can do that, and you should know what areas you got to grow. Maybe it's phone calls. Maybe it's being persistent. Maybe it's having discipline. Maybe it's not procrastinating. Maybe it's reading your goals every morning when you wake up. Maybe it's even having a goal. Some of you don't even have a written goal. Some of you don't even read your goals. It's crazy to me. How can you win if you don't even read your goals? How? There's no chance. You'll get distracted. Right? So that's my challenge to all of you. Is that a deal? Yes. All right. So with this, I want to bring up your leaders, Edward and Michelle. We got a big announcement. Okay. Everybody, can we all stand up? Yes. Shake it off real quick. All right. Help me welcome your leaders.